please.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Can I thank Stuart McMillan for securing this debate and admire his tenacity for his constituency and the case that he has made for a physical human rights museum in Scotland being based in his constituency, and I think he's made a very good case of that this evening. He is very right to say that I visited the Canadian Museum of Human Rights on a visit from this Parliament in 2017, and it was an absolutely profound experience for me. I had never come across such a museum, and the manner in which the Canadians had approached it was just incredible. They established it with the Museums Act in 2008, and it's seen as a national and international destination centre of learning, where people from all around the world can engage in discussion and commit to taking action against hate and oppression. And I think Mr McMillan laid the foundations for that, of what a museum in Scotland could be about as well. I was very intrigued by some of the displays that I saw there. I think in terms of educating younger children, they had an interactive floor where when you walked onto it, you appeared like a single coloured circle underneath your feet. And in order to get the pattern and the floor moving and excited by what was happening, you had to engage with the other people on the floor. Sort of a very simple metaphor for young people to say that, you know, beauty and life is enriched by interaction rather than just being singly on your own. They also had a jury exhibit where it had real-life cases of human rights that had gone through the Canadian courts. And we know Canada has had its issues with these issues that we've been talking about. Indeed, they've also had to deal with the issue of their First Nation people who were treated so badly in the past, and their reparation in that area. And I think that the two things I took from this was the education, but the bearing witness, honestly, of the past and what colonialism had meant for Canada as a country. And I think this education part of this is so key. I was delighted to work with North Lanarkshire councillors Danish Ashraf and Aggie McGowan earlier this year when they presented, which I believe is the first motion to be passed in a council in Scotland, asking that education should include a look at the colonial history of our country, honestly. And that was after the Black Lives Matter movement had taken hold. And I was delighted North Lanarkshire passed that motion. And also, I pay tribute to young constituents of my own, Alicia and Lauren Omike, who themselves have mixed race backgrounds, spoke out at that time about what it was like for them growing up in Scotland, and the lack of knowledge about why they were there and what the history of their family had been, and how they integrated into our country. And I think it's so important that we pay tribute to the people who are asking for this engagement. So when the programme for government was announced earlier, I was delighted to see the commitment there for education. So my ask of the Minister this evening, I'm not asking for your museum in my constituency, although some others might in the room this evening, but I would ask if we could have an indication of how people like the young Omike twins or the council group in North Lanarkshire can engage with the government to ensure that this idea of education around Black Lives Matter, about colonial history, is taken forward, and that they can have their voices heard during the development of those education programmes. Thank you, Presiding Officer.